So school. I really love school, and I did a shitload of extracurricular activities, which is ironic because now I'm just about the laziest person in the world. I did pretty much every musical thing, and every sports club. I was in the team for hockey, netball, tennis, rounders. I did music. I did a lot of orchestras, big band, wind band, chamber orchestra, symphony orchestra, and I guess other extracurricular stuff. In sixth form I was in politics society, and also I did Amnesty International. I was student president, which was basically head girl, but they decided to try and be a bit more cool, so student president. Our teacher, it was elected by, students would do a vote, staff would comment on students they liked, and then it was decided, then there was a short list, and we all had interviews with the head teacher and the two deputy heads, and they decided kind of who was the student president team, so the student president and two vice presidents. But our head of sixth form was actually not involved in those interviews at all, and I'm pretty sure he really hated us. Sarah probably says that I clashed with loads of teachers. I really didn't. A lot of teachers really loved me, I think. But I just didn't have the mentality that you should respect a teacher just because they're a teacher. As far as I was concerned, a teacher should earn your respect in order to get your respect. And there were a few teachers who just didn't, and who were really, patronising and always wanted you to behave in exactly a certain way, and I was just having none of it. I was never rude to a teacher, but I wouldn't always be polite just because they were a teacher. And it did fine. Look, I made it through. I got the grades. I don't feel like I don't regret doing anything. Some teachers just didn't like me for no reason, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as a lot of my friends were concerned. There were a couple of teachers who didn't. There was one teacher who was convinced that I was the only person who ever talked at my maths teacher in GCSE. And if there's one moment I wish I could be a fly on the wall for, was a moment on maths GCSE. So we used to have music lessons. If you had instrumental lessons before sixth form, you could take them out one period of the day. So I was in a cello lesson, this math lesson, that had to rotate every week, so it wasn't like you missed the same lesson. So this one week I was out at a cello lesson, and everyone was talking, because everyone always talks, especially in maths when it's quite easy to kind of work and talk at the same time. It's not like writing an essay. And our math teacher was just kind of, Abby, can you please be quiet? And one of my friends just like, Abby's in a music lesson. And everyone in that when we got back to lunch that day, everyone was telling me about that story, like it was hilarious, and I wish I could have been there, except obviously then it wouldn't have worked, it wouldn't have been funny. A lot of my teachers said to other friends, because I didn't continue on with sciences, but a lot of my really good friends did, especially my best friend at school, a lot of them said to her, oh, we always thought Abby was the one who talked all the time, but really it's you. Kind of once they separated us, they realised that it wasn't just me, all my friends are really loud. We had some really fantastic teachers. I feel like I'm kind of picking out teachers. I love that maths teacher, by the way, I should say that. She was really fantastic, and we had really great maths teachers. She was one of our A-level maths teachers, and we had two A-level maths teachers, and they were both just absolutely amazing. We had some really hilarious time. Actually, three maths teachers. One of them left and was swapped. Really hilarious times in maths lessons, but again, probably only funny if you were there. We had one teacher, he was quite old, quite elderly, and he was also deaf, and so he had a hearing aid, and he used to turn down his hearing aid when we were just annoying him generally, and we'd listen. I had little fold-out speakers, and we'd bring them in, plug someone's iPod in, and listen to like Britney as we did some maths, and he was like, that's fine, I'm just going to turn you guys off. And so that's how we'd spend our lessons, us just listening kind of faintly to some 90s pop, and him just sitting there pretending we don't exist, with his hearing aid turned off. And there was this one time with that teacher that we were all looking at horoscopes. So we were reading through and we were like, oh, what's your horoscope? What's your horoscope? And read it out and was like, oh, a man in uniform will sweep you off your feet. It was to remind me of like Cosmo or Glamour or something. And at that precise moment, fire engine pulled up outside, and all these firemen started running off the fire engine. They were doing a practice thing in the flats opposite our school, and we were just like, oh my god, clearly your man in uniform has arrived. So that was funny. He was a hilarious teacher. We baked him an awesome cake. If I can find a picture of that, I'll put it here. And it had different equations all written all over it. We made it as a class when he left. And we bought those tubs of Betty Crocker frosting that I quite like to eat just with a spoon. and we bought a vanilla one and a chocolate one. We're like, okay, which one are we going to use for this cake to decorate it? And then in a moment of genius, we're like, why use one? So in that picture it looks chocolate. On the inside it was, you had to cut it in half. Basically the whole tub of Betty Crocker vanilla. It was so rich. It was sickly rich. It was amazing in its disgustingness. It was so heavy. The actual cake itself weighed a ton, but it was amazing. I think he really liked it. We had an amazing music teacher, and he was absolutely hilarious. He was obsessed with Mean Girls. We went on tour to Germany, and me and my friends bought because we have really shitty girly DVDs. That's what me and my friends do. We just kind of watch shitty DVDs. So we bought some of us there, and one of the DVDs we bought for the coach journey was Mean Girls. And we put it on, we're all watching on the train. Obviously most of the girls on the coach had seen it, but this one teacher hadn't seen it. And he came up afterwards and he looked so happy, and he gave the DVD back to me and was like, that was a great one, wasn't it? It was such a great one. And then we went on tour again a couple of years later, and me and my friend who'd also been on that tour, we were counting money we had a big charity day called Bernardo's, where everyone raised money for, obviously, Bernardo's. It was around Harvest Festivals. We'd have a big Harvest Festival assembly, and then people would bring things in. The things people brought in for Harvest Festival would sell on Bernardo's Day, and every class would have a theme. It was really fun. So you'd have, one year in my class were Willy Wonka, which was really, like, when we were really little, in year 7, because that was a really kind of stereotypical theme. We did Black and White, which was shit. I think we thought it would be good and artsy. It's not good and artsy when you're 13. We did a Just Married theme, which won us a prize for best decoration or best theme or something, which was great. I can't remember what other themes we did, but every year you did a different theme, and you decorated your whole classroom in that theme, and you sold things to do with that theme, or like did quizzes, makeup, yielding. Oh, I'll get back to that, because if you don't know what yielding is, you're missing out. That was one of our themes. But yeah, so on one Bernardo's Day, and our upper 6th Bernardo's Day, Kate and I were counting money. We were being helpful, dutiful 6th formers, counting out all the money that all the different classes were bringing in. You had to write down exactly which class had got which amount of money, so that we could see who raised the most at the end of the day. And Mr. Rod was like, "Have you guys thought about the DVDs for the tour?" And I'm like, "Oh, we'll bring some of the same stuff, some new ones." And he goes, "You gonna bring Mean Girls?" Obviously yes. And then we actually bought him, because it was our last tour, so the last thing we were going to do with him, we bought him his own copy of Mean Girls, and you've never seen someone so excited to open up a present in their lives. He was just so happy. Okay, it's now way later, it's being dark outside, because my camera died earlier, and then Laurie came home and I got distracted, so now it's like, I don't know, 4 hours later, and I'm finishing filming this video. I mentioned, while I was rambling through talking about Bernardo's, yielding, which is actually the theme my class did, I think maybe just the year before we did GCSEs. Yielding was something we did a school project on in what we called Upper 3, so that was actually year 7. And we did it in history, and it was basically, you had there was a village called Yielding, there still is, I believe, a village called Yielding, and you picked out a family and kind of times like serfs and great men, like kind of 1400s, 1500s. This town of Yielding, you each got given a family, you worked in pairs, and you got given these families, and you had to kind of find out everything about their life, from census and court records, and kind of what the lord of the area, what relations he had with them and stuff. So my family was the Bennets. It was kind of a thing that you never forgot, your Yielding family. It was something that really lived on in everyone's mind. So about kind of 4 years later, we decided to do it for Bernardo's Day as our classroom's theme, and we went a bit crazy. We got like loads of straw and mud. And just sprinkled it around the classroom. We got a massive paddling pool in the middle, filled it with water, and put loads of toy ducks in, and one of the fishing the duck thing is one of the competitions that you could do. And there was this judging thing that every year the head teacher and I think a representative from the staff and the head girl, I think that was kind of the judging panel. They'd go around from room to room judging each class on creativity, and you'd kind of do some little show for them. So for example, when we had a Just Married theme, we took one of the staff member, and we did a whole wedding ceremony. Someone played the wedding march on the piano, and we threw confetti and did like wedding photos and stuff. And so for this one, I think we started off just in some sort of kind of old country song, and it was nice, and then suddenly there was that witch trial, and we were like, oh, it's a witch, it's a witch, and she was killed for being a witch, and then we all died of the plague. So I think it was quite an interesting one. I think we won something for creativity, but it was a bit of a strange one. Also, actually thinking of weird things, in sixth form we did, both upper sixth and lower sixth did a room together, and it was in the hall, so it was like the centre of the whole day, the biggest room, and our theme was the recession, and this was really the height of recession. And we had loads of people who got like shirts from, I don't know, Primark, like really cheap shirts, like, and just ripped them up and dirtied them and stuff, and they were like hobo bankers, I think, so people who used to be really wealthy and then really poor, and they were just begging, and people found them so hilarious that they actually made more money than any of the other events or items we were selling, anything. The hobo bankers made the most money. Okay, this time my memory card ran out of space, so I think this video just really doesn't want to happen or something, but I was just kind of just concluding my video. So yeah, school was a really great time for me, and I felt like I really knew who I was at school. I was very confident there. I kind of did a load of clubs. I was really involved in a lot of things, and I had a really solid group of friends. I worry sometimes that I'm like that person in American TV shows and films, whatever, who's like, oh, they peaked at high school. But I think if that is the case, which I hope it isn't, it's yet to be seen, but I think it won't be, then at least I peaked at a time I have really, really fun memories of, and still have the friends around me to share those really fun memories with, because I think this, you know, for you guys watching this, you might be like, oh, these weren't very funny memories, but I just have so many. When I'm with my friends from school, we're just like, oh, do you remember that, you know, really stupid things, like, do you remember that time with, I don't know, Fiona and the candle, and it would mean nothing, and it was like the stupidest thing, and it wasn't funny, but to us it's hilarious, and that's what school really primarily was for me. It was this kind of place where, because I had such good friends, and we were all so used to each other's company and so close, and you know, it's kind of a situation you'll never be in again, where you're with these people every day and you have a chance to be idiots every day. It just produced some of the funniest times, and yeah, I hope to be able to kind of recreate that at some point in life, and in the meantime I have my memories. How depressing does that sound? But yeah, that's school week for me, and yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. Bye!